Hello everyone, and welcome to my game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Jackie HAK, and he's in The Sims. At tier 7, Premium US Destroyer. He's on the map Neighbors in a 3-point domination game. It's a tier 7 battle, so being top tier is obviously amazing. There is a carrier though, and there is one Atlanta for radar. Now speaking of carriers, once upon a time The Sims had pretty good anti-air, but you know, these days your anti-air is a joke. Like, you know, anti-air in general. Anyway, currently the carrier is not coming for him. For some reason the carrier is taking his rocket planes to attack battleships, which, you know, I mean, if the enemy does it, it's quite welcome, I guess. So there is that. The Sims in itself, I don't think The Sims has aged that well. As you can see, you have 6.6 concealment. Not necessarily that uncommon for this tier, I suppose. The problem is that the concealment module gets unlocked at tier 8, and that means tier 8 and above usually have better concealment. He's found in Atlanta. That's potentially unpleasant. Of course, the Atlanta could, you know, radar him. He has some fishes in the water though. Maybe they will find their mark. So far, he's decided to just pew a Viribus a little bit, because why not? He's also taken the camp. And, you know, yeah, I mean, the Atlanta can shoot him, but I guess the Atlanta decided radar isn't really all that useful there. Now, some more fishes in the water, maybe the Atlanta will poke again. It's very likely that the Atlanta, if the Atlanta decides to poke, that it would follow that up with radar. So Jackie is going a little bit more towards the island to have some, I guess, emergency cover is needed, and he is also increasing the distance. Well, actually he's no longer going to this island, but I guess he's increasing the distance there. Doesn't seem too afraid of the Atlanta, although like an Atlanta can eat you in, I don't know, like 10 seconds or so. And there is the radar, but his fishes are spot on. It's a good looking Atlanta too, that's a shame. And the Atlanta missed.
Enemy cruiser.
Well, I mean, that's pretty good start there. Now, obviously, there have been quite a few ships sunk on both sides already, but, you know, for Jackie here, he got rid of his most dangerous adversary, Atlanta. Yeah, I was talking about The Sims a little bit. You know, 6.6 concealment, it's just really hurtful, because you are up tiered a lot these days, and the amount that some higher tier ships outspot you is just scary. Especially since a lot of them will outgun you too. And if you run into somebody who has like maybe 1 kilometer better concealment than you and outguns you, you're just so screwed. Yeah. Yeah, okay, most ships won't have 1 kilometer better concealment, but at least between a half a kilometer and a kilometer better concealment is something that you will run into a lot when you are yet. So that means you will have a hard time doing spotting, doing objectives. I mean, you know, you have 10. Like The Sims actually has a choice of 2 torpedoes. He's using the 10.5 kilometers here by his choice, in my opinion. But you know, you're still not really the best torpedo boat. So yeah, I feel like The Sims has seen a lot better days, but you know, doesn't mean you're necessarily too bad in it, I guess. And you're still a lot better than a new German. I guess there is that. So not everything has power creep. Well, meanwhile, Jackie is trying to sink the Cowboy, who is trying to get away, which won't work. He's also on fire, which is nice. Meanwhile, he has some fishes in the water. Maybe he'll get the Viribus. Now there is a Königsberg around here.
We've destroyed an enemy
And
battleship.
that's kind of scary, because Königsberg has pretty good hydro, and the Königsberg could easily hydro him here on this side. Then again, it's not that scary when we think that there's nothing here close, right? So the friend is sort of control C, it's just those 2 enemies that are still around. And yeah, there's the hydro. So while he's detected here, and he's pretty deep inside the Hydro, I think Königsberg might already have 6 km Hydro. If not 6, then it's probably like 5.5. Maybe it's 5.5, but it's pretty long range already. Like, German Hydro is really scary. But of course, yeah, no, that's too much. He needs to top right here, right? The thing is, he's hydroed and this Königsberg is coming around very carefully, so you need to top exactly at the edge of the island, because that's the only chance. He like to get top hits there. But, you know, he can't just keep running away, so he can kite around this island as long as he wants. Then again, he's going to run into the Viribus, so right now nobody shoots him because, well, the enemy is so far away. But that Viribus might get interested in him. For now, he does the right thing. He needs to keep his distance from the Königsberg. He's only going to win that fight if he's getting some torps in. You know, maybe those torps are going to hit the Viribus, though. Wouldn't that be hilarious? But, yeah, okay. Viribus might just be too fast for that. Not something you hear every day. Ah, so close. Now he's hydroed here anyways, obviously he's going to shoot the Viribus a bit. The Viribus has pretty reasonable guns for its tier, and quite a few of those, so it's yeah, exactly. You know, this is this isn't really that surprising. And oh, the Königsberg has turned up here. So it looks like the Königsberg didn't wanna chase him around the island and decided to instead go attack here. And there's no more Hydro. So I'm not sure why the Königsberg didn't go after the destroyer, because, you know, he could have gotten a few nice salvos in. Instead, the Königsberg is so focusing on the here, probably going for a torp run there. I mean, that's good for Jackie, because this could have gone horribly wrong.
Smoke screen set.
Now, Königsberg is getting low. I'm not actually sure who the here is currently focusing. Yeah, there are the torps for the here. I don't think the here will survive, but it's okay. The Königsberg won't do that. And oh, there is a torp hit on the Viribus. Will this be a double strike? Yeah, okay, maybe the Viribus isn't sinking fast enough. It's still flooding though. And there is a fire, and yeah, okay, there was too much time for the double strike, I guess.
Engine boost activated.
But almost. And the here is survived, so that's nice. Or at least right now, I'm not sure if he's burning flooding or anything, but for now, still floating. Meanwhile, not looking too shabby, the friendlies have more ships. Well, there goes one. Friendlies still have more ships. And more points, although they have lost the center cap. Now there is a Cyclone in full effect, meaning 8 km spotting. So we are going to increase the speed here. I'm going to unlock the camera a bit, because otherwise, you know, if he looks around, it's going to be very fast and not so pleasant to watch. So, oh, the friend is just... Now the enemy has actually 2 more ships, so this escalated quickly. Now yeah, Cyclone 8 km spotting range. The carrier has found quite a few enemies though, and should we reduce the speed again? It looks like he might almost countering some enemies there. Oh yeah, there we go. Give him camera back. So, Fuso has been spotted, torps are out. The ranger seems to be hunted down by Nakatsuki. You see, that's the good thing here, right? The friendlies are actually 3 against 6, which is pretty bad, but the enemy has decided to not, like the enemy destroyer has decided, for example, to not take B, he's hunting the carrier instead. I can understand why you'd wanna hunt the carrier, I suppose, but ignoring objectives in the long run is often a very bad thing, especially since the enemy has a very nice lead, right? If they had just grabbed B here, they would be in an even more amazing spot. Of course, I guess if you look at this, I guess a lot of the enemies just assume at this point that they're going to win. And why not win a little bit harder? hunting the carrier. I mean, of course, if you're a destroyer and you're hunting a carrier, it's possibly you who is being hunted. Let's just face it. Destroyer versus carrier. It's going to be the carrier who is favored. And the destroyer seems on very low health. And you know, a lot of carriers kinda ignore destroyers, or only occasionally drop them and don't really spend much time hunting them down. But there is one way that you usually can make a carrier hunt you down. And that's by attacking the carrier itself.
Enemy destroyer blown up.
So yeah, the enemy destroyer found that out the hard way. So instead of having a cap and being on a very secure way to win, the enemy is now down one destroyer, the friendly carrier still lives. And while Jackie is being pushed by Colorado. Now, it's a Cyclone. Obviously the Colorado is moving forward here. And he's probably blind, like, not sure why the Colorado is blind shooting the smoke. It's a Cyclone, right? This Colorado can only be spotted from 8 kilometers away. If he wouldn't be shooting, I presume he'd go dark. I don't, well, I mean the carrier. Okay, the carrier might keep him spotted. But right, in a Cyclone like this, Fiji isn't going to do much. Well, I mean, he's behind the island anyway. The only reason this Colorado is spotted is, well, for a moment it was only because he was shooting. Now the planes are back. Oh, he got the lucky hit in, that's unfortunate. So Jackie has used one launcher, he's holding the other one in reserve. Generally in a situation, oh no wait, he's not holding the other one in reserve. Generally in a situation like this, you wanna make sure to get more torps with these. Like the thing is, you know, he's getting one torpedo here. And he's probably only getting one torpedo here either. If you're very unlucky, then there seems to be a battleship-sized gap for me. Can he still get a torpedo in? Yes. Right, if you torp them nose on like this, you aren't getting many hits. And now he's, well, I mean, the other launcher is almost ready, but he's getting, like, spotted now because that's his smoke fire penalty. Now the Colorado took a blind shot a little bit earlier, which means couldn't immediately retaliate. And thankfully, Jackie was able to shoot down the spotter plane before he emerged from the smoke. Now he has the smoke between him and the Colorado, and he successfully burned her down. But this was a little bit close for comfort. Of course, the problem with waiting too long with your torpedoes is, I mean, even at 2-3 kilometers, the torpedoes still have some travel time, mind you. Which means,
The enemy is about to win.
if you wait too long, then the enemy is going to proximity spot you and possibly sink you before your torpedoes arrive. So you need to find, in a sense, the sweet spot. Now the Cyclone is being lifted again, which means he can now profit from other people spotting a lot more. And Jackie is up to 6 kills by now. They are still about 100 points behind though, and the enemy has 3 because the enemy battleships actually sailed in their camp, I'm afraid, and possibly the Shiratsuyu too. Shiratsuyu is on low health though, so he's trying to focus down the Shiratsuyu. There are, well, 3 minutes and like 40 seconds left. So there is still time to turn this around, but they need to sink some ships there. They probably need to sink at least 2. And wait, is that Shiratsuyu going to beach there? Yes, it's going to beach. So that's good news, because it means he might be able to finish off the Shiratsuyu, although it's a pretty long shell travel time here. And the Oklahoma just got, well, often flooded by the Fiji. So that's good, now that leaves the Fuso. Now the friendlies are ahead. And wait, there are more torps coming towards the Fuso. Is that going to be it? Because you know, there's still 3 minutes left. And yeah. Well, it looks like the Fuso and the Fiji traded, and that brings us to the results. So Jackie earned himself 2,585 base experience, and he carried quite a bit in this one. Also, the enemy Shiratsuyu did quite well, but turns out enemy Shiratsuyu didn't quite carry hard enough, but obviously had an amazing game there. Now, Jackie achieved a Kraken and a high caliber, scoring 138,000 points of damage and sinking 7 enemies. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you next time.